should be live. Nope. There is something wrong with this little bar here. It has not been set up correctly. I will turn it off. Whoop. It is gone now. Okay. Question before we carry on. Is the fan audible? I hope not, because it's very hot. Oh. Well, that's good. I'm sure someone will say if that is, if that stops being the case, which it may well do. Oh, I have an ice pack because it is blisteringly hot, and that doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon for the next like several days. So that's a good time. But yeah, the idea for the next sort of hour and a half or so is working on spells. Spells are easily my favorite thing to work on because they're very simple. You know, it's very easy to do checks and balances against other spells because you just look at the other spells. There's no crazy secret synergy to be found with most spells because they're pretty simple. You just make them, and it's a good time. That's why the first product I made, which is as the cover, is just over here a little bit. Oh, my cursor doesn't travel that far, but it's just on the left. That's from the cover of the Archive of Esoteric Secrets, which you can purchase if you want it, or don't. That's fine. I'm not gonna hold you at knife point to buy my garbage. Not yet, anyway. But yeah, basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through some of my some of the ideas I have in my backlog, because I have like the archive, which is the first thing I released, did very, very well, and I obviously wanted to make a second one because it was really fun to make, and it did really well. So it was like, oh well, it's a bit of a no fucking brainer to make two. And I will tell you flat out now, it's basically done. It is more or less complete. But I still have plenty more ideas, and I'm planning on doing a third one. So we're gonna make some of those spells, and it's hopefully gonna be interesting. Because there's all kinds of like crazy shit. I've tweeted about the stream. I don't know if anybody's gonna give two licks of a fuck, but we shall see. It has been, I believe the tweet has gone out. Twitter have only just added a scheduling feature to twitter.com, and it's taken them like 15 years or something ridiculous, however long Twitter's been around. And it seems to work. Yeah, basically, there's not really a way for me to show my notes, and it's got a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't particularly want. There's like secret stuff as well on it, so I'm not going to be showing them or anything. But, thank you for the follow. Follows are pretty neat. If more of them can be achieved, that's good too. Or something to that effect. Follows are good. Thank you very much. Sip of tea. But, yeah, this is my sort of setup, so to speak. It's a Word document because I like working in Word. I'm not really a fan of Google Docs. I don't work with multiple people enough to warrant using Google Docs. But I've used it before and it's fine. But for me personally, just use Word. It's easier. I much prefer it. So yeah, we got your standard spell layout with an extra little thing because for some reason the spells in the player's handbook, they have the giant spell list, which is fine for all the classes at the start of like chapter 10 or whatever the spells are in. And they have the big spell list for all the classes, but they never then list it on the spell. You just have to kind of remember the spell list. You can't peruse the spells. You have to look at the spell list and then go into and look for every spell individually, and it's a giant pain in the ass. So yeah, we just print it here. It's way easier. I know why they did it for the PHB, and it's to save print space, because printing things commercially is very expensive, but I don't want to have to flip through an entire book just to find fucking magic missile and then who can cast magic missile. I don't need that shit. But yeah, I have a whole bunch of ideas. Some of them are potentially very, very broken, and some of them aren't. But the idea of making spells is you make something that seems cool and you worry about the balance later. Because balance is really important. But if you strive for balance from the get-go, you are going to come out with something that is dry and boring. If you strive for fun and then go for balance afterwards, you are always going to come out with something way better. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to come up with something that's potentially disgustingly overpowered or just really, really weak. And both of those scenarios, that is totally fine, because we can change balance really easily, but changing entire design, less so. So I have a big old list of ideas here that I'm very happy to be working on this afternoon, because I've had this backlog for ages. And because of my personal project at the moment, Angela's, which I started in December and was supposed to be finished in April, and it's now August, and it's still only about 90% finished. I have a spreadsheet for it and everything. It's a beautiful mess. It's going to be. I've not had the chance to work on all of this stuff, which has been very sad, because I like working on this a lot, and I've put a lot of time into it, in case that wasn't already obvious. So I have a big old list of spells. Some spell ideas are just words. Like, oh, here's a cool word, let's build a spell around this word. Trust me, it works. It's worked many, many times. And we also have sort of stuff that we can sort of yoink, so to speak, from other games, which I've also done many, many times, and that's also very okay. Because if a mechanic works in another game, and you can find a way to cleanly sort of transpose it into another, why wouldn't you? If it works, then you may as well do it. As long as you're not, blatantly breaking copyright. That's probably a reason why you shouldn't do it. But any other reason, you should probably just do it. Why not? Fuck it. So, I think, looking at this list, I think we are going to start with a spell called Bubble. I had the idea for Bubble fairly recently. I don't remember the context as to the idea, but Bubble is a Conjuration cantrip. It may be elevated to a first level spell if it proves to be too ridiculous and the design space turns out to be a bit of a fucking nightmare. That's the plan. Wizard used Bubble, super effective. That is the plan. 100%. So Bubble, the idea is you conjure a bubble around someone. It's very much like Odaluk's Resilient Sphere. You make a bubble around someone and they get stuck inside of it. Except with the spell Bubble, they are stuck in that one spot. But the bubble can be destroyed because, it's just whatever bubbles are made of. I don't know how bubbles work. I'm not a fucking bubble scientist, but bubbles can pop because they're just air around like a membrane of water, probably. I don't know. Whatever bubbles are. So, casting time, 1 action, as basically every cantrip is, because most cantrips, if they were a bonus action, that'd be pretty busted. Range, we'll start with 30. 30 feet is a lot smaller than it seems in a lot of scenarios, and it does also depend on the movement option your GM uses. Generally speaking, most GMs use just standard grid movement, but I use Manhattan. And it makes people angry that I use Manhattan. But I like Manhattan a lot because it makes some sense to me. Drinking some tea, a hot drink on hot day, is probably a really terrible idea, but oh well. It's a cantrip, so we should probably put the verbal somatic limitation on it. And let's put material just for a bit of fun, and a vial of soapy water. Makes sense. Duration. Concentration cantrips are generally really bad, but we'll see, because it might be okay. It might be fine. Concentration up to a minute. Classes, well, it seems only reasonable that druids would get this. They're making a bubble of water. Makes sense. Wizards, because again, wizard use bubble, super effective. And we'll say sorcerers for now. I think that's a reasonable start. So description-wise, you generally want to start with some flavor text. I always try to start with it because it helps me sort of narrow out any extra bits of design that I haven't quite nailed down yet. I usually find that to be really, really effective. So, Nope. I'm very easily distracted. That is going to become a problem very, very quickly. So, yeah, flavor text can help you iron out those extra bits of design that you haven't really thought of yet. So, we have bubble. It's conjuration cantrip. It's for druids, sorcerers, and wizards. That may change. So, you conjure... Oh, actually, let's... Actually, no. I had an idea, and I immediately decided it was stupid, and it would take lots of weird specificness that's not wanted. You conjure a magical bubble. Oh, the bot works. That's good. Yeah, this is a link to my garbage. If you like my garbage, or if my garbage sounds interesting to you, please purchase it. But if it doesn't, well, that's okay. You can just ignore it. It's all good. It's good garbage, yeah. I'll I'm not one for tooting my own horn, but it's good trash. It's good trash. You conjure a magical bubble. No, that sounds stupid. A bubble of magical energy. No, you conjure a soapy bubble around a medium or smaller creature that you can see within range, attempting to trap the target within. I'm going to read these out loud just because I'm not quite sure why, but I'm probably going to continue to. I doubt we have anybody hard of sight in here, but I suppose it'd be useful if we do. The target must succeed on a, dexterity, because it's the same as Otaluk's Resilience Sphere. You make a dex save, and if you succeed, the sphere just appears and you manage to dive out of it. Must succeed on a dexterity saving throw, or become trapped inside the bubble, or become restrained inside the bubble. Okay, so here we sort of reach this sort of junction, because restrained on a cantrip is quite strong. Off the top of my head, I will load up a list of the cantrips very quickly, because I'm unsure as to whether this is a baseless accusation or not, but I'm pretty sure that there are no cantrips which cause the restrained condition. I will check, though. Conditions inflicted, restrained. There are not any. So yeah, I feel like... But obviously, single target restrain at first level is really terrible, because remember that... I need to... I hope that didn't ping up. I need to turn off my notifications, which I completely neglected to do because I'm a dumbass. Manage notifications. Notifications off. That should fix that for now. Sorry about that. I'm also going to put some music on, because I completely neglected to do that as well. We've got some Harris Heller. I put a link to him in my About section. He seems like a bit of a legend, because making a shitload of really good music that's just completely free to stream, that seems pretty cool. Like, that sounds like something a pretty cool guy would do. So, do tell me. Oh, yeah, I have all the viruses. I catch viruses like I catch fucking Pokemon, yo. Gotta catch them all. So, do tell me if your eardrums are in the process of being burst, and I will fix it. But I assume, because nobody is telling me that their eardrums have been violently ruptured, then that we're okay. It's a little loud for me, though, but that's fine. I can survive. So, yeah, we were talking about Bubble first level. Single target restrained as a first level spell is really, really terrible, because Entangle exists, because it's AoE restrained at first level, and also Druids get it. And I think Sorcerers get it too, but I may be making that up. Let's have a look. Entangle. Druids and Variant Ranger. So yeah. Good Ranger. Hahaha, original joke. So, yeah, I think what we're going to do... oh, shit. I pressed F1 by accident instead of 1. First level, Conjuration. Oh, yeah, there we go. I forgot there's a... I've got the stream open in another tab, and I was like, wait, what's happening? But stream delay. I forgot those were a thing. So I'm a bit of a dumbass. Will become Restrained. So I think we can upgrade Restrained to Incapacitated. At first level, Concentration, 1 action. I think that's probably okay. Again, balance comes later. That's the main thing here. Balance comes later. Talking about Dexterity saving throw, become incapacitated inside the bubble. Inside the bubble for the duration, because otherwise the spell is infinite. Well, rules as written, it probably would be infinite, and we don't want that, because that's permanently trapping someone in a bubble is probably not good. A creature within the bubble can repeat its saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on a success, or bursting, slipping free from the bubble into an adjacent space. Into the nearest unoccupied space. There we go. Proper game terminology language is quite important here, folks. This is my diploma in game design would tell you. Oh god. My education is a joke. It's a funny joke, but it is a joke. It's a fucking mess. Slipping free from the bubble into the nearest unoccupied space. Okay, I think that's fine. That should probably be part of the same paragraph, though. This is very good music. Jesus Christ, this is good. Creature within the bubble. Right. A creature within the bubble has full cover and can repeat its saving throw. Yeah, so the idea is that the bubble severely hampers them, but the bubble can be popped because it's a bubble. Like, it's a magic bubble, but it's still a goddamn bubble. So I would say that... the bubble has hit points equal to 5 times your spellcasting ability modifier. How much does that? That's like 25? Yeah. Yeah, 5 times your spellcasting ability modifier. We're talking, like, say a level 1 character casts the spell. We're averaging at +3. We're looking at 15 hit points on the bubble. I think that's reasonable. It's probably a little strong. We might bring it down to like 4 maybe, but I think that's okay. AC 10 because it's a bubble. Immunity to... Well, no, immunity to... Poison... Oh, no. Posion. Poison and psychics. I'm not even sure what I did there. Immunity to poison and psychic damage. Resistance to bludgeoning damage. And immunity to all conditions. Let me just double check and make sure that's how that works, how that's phrased in other spells, but I'm unsure. I can't think of any spells in particular that just make objects. Oh, we'll look at Wall of Stone. That does something sort of a little bit along the lines of what I want. Wall of Stone. Here we go. Apparently, the Wall of Stone is not immune to psychic damage, which is interesting. You can use your mind powers to murder a wall of rocks. I'm on board, but confused. Which I think is... Yeah, no, I think that sums up quite a lot of things, actually. My tea is finished. I think we can ignore, because it is an object. The bubble is a medium size. The bubble is a 5... medium? Is a medium object and has hit points equal to 5 times your spellcasting ability modifier. Spellcasting ability modifier. AC 10, immunity to poison and psychic damage, as well as resistance. Yeah, I think that's probably okay. You bubble someone and they're just out. Like, they're out of the fight. But the key thing is you can't hurt them. So they've got full cover, so if you blast them, like Agonazar's Scorcher will probably burst through the bubble. However, oh, hang on, actually. Full cover would imply that they straight up wouldn't take any... I think we should reword that. A creature within the bubble... here we go. Any attack roll made against a creature inside the bubble instead targets the bubble. So there we go. And then we can segue in to what the bubble is as an entity with hit points. This, kids, is game design, I guess. I don't know. Pretending to be some wise old sage. I don't know shit. I'm just making stuff. So, not all spells scale, but I personally think it's very important for spells to scale. Even though warlocks don't get this, there's plenty of ways for warlocks to get this. You know, they literally just need to multi at any stage. And then... train of thought, I got my mind... The train of thought has derailed and crashed off a cliff because of the drop in this song. Or maybe just because it does that a lot. Warlocks, there we go. Warlocks can very easily get access to any spell because multi-classing is a thing. And most warlocks do it, or well, not most. Quite a lot of warlocks do it. It's become very popular, courtesy of old Ford on Critical Role, which, you know, it's a cool character. Everyone wants to be Ford, which is, you know, pretty reasonable. Yeah, Yeah, when the drop makes you drop all your thoughts. That's more or less my life, damn it. So we're gonna make the spell scale, and I think I know how. When you cast this spell with a spell slot, using a spell slot of 2nd level or higher, the hit points of the bubble increase by... No, the bubble's hit points, I think, is a neater sentence. The bubble's hit points increase by 10 for each spell slot level expended above 1st. As of right now, this is terrible. This is really, really bad. But this is not the purpose. Additionally, when you cast this spell using a spell slot for 3rd level or higher, the size of the bubble and the creature it can contain increase by 1 size category for I think it's every other spell slot level expended above 1st. Or no, every 2nd spell slot level, I think. I'll check the wording on Spiritual Weapon, because that is sort of the breakout, sort of every other level scaling spell. And it's the one that everybody kind of knows, because it's Spiritual Weapon, and it's insanely good. Every 2 slot levels. Every 2 spell slot levels expended above 1st. To a maximum of reaching a maximum huge-sized creatures. So basically, the highest level you can cast this spell, and it really... above 3rd. No. No, it would be every 2 spell slot levels above 1st. Because it would progress to large creatures at 3rd level. Otherwise, if it was above 3rd, it would only progress to large creatures at 5th. Which is not what we want. So it maxes at huge, so basically, casting this spell at any level higher than 5th is probably a bit of a waste of time. But, again, generally speaking, upcasting any spell is often a waste of time, unless it's counterspell or dispel magic. Then it's never a waste of time, and you should always be doing that. It is, so yeah, I think actually this is done, as is. I think this is very fair. It may prove that incapacitating people for a 1st level spell slot is too much. And if that's the case, well, shit. But, all going well, that should be Bubble, I think. And obviously we're going to make more than one spell, but this spell required a little bit more thought than your average, like, slap a guy, do some damage, because it sort of has its own sort of thing. It's got hit points. It's a spell with hit points. Shit's weird. Okay. Right. I'm going to attempt to cool myself down with this ice pack I stole from my freezer, because the fan, though on, is distant, and is providing little support in these trying times. I'm gonna just press it to my forehead or something. Okay, no, that actually helped quite a lot. Though it's probably gonna melt. I think it seems to be secured fairly effectively. Probably hasn't been opened in about 10 years. Some fucking nasty ass frozen water in there. But it's keeping me cool, so I think it's all good. Okay, right. So back to my list of spells. So I can cross Bubble off the list. Literally put us do strike through. It's very satisfying knocking things off a list. And I think what we're going to do from here is we're going to... Because I really, really like... we're going to move on now, obviously. I really, really, really like that in 3rd edition... I mean, aren't we all? We're jamming to this music. It's good shit. It's good shit. Again, there's a link in the About Me section to his Twitch channel. Give the guy a follow. He seems like a fucking legend. I was talking about 3rd edition. I really like that there's sort of archetypes of spells in 3rd edition. There's lots of ray spells. And ray spells are like one of these big archetypes. I think I just repeated myself, but oh, fuck it. And there are very, very few of them in 5e. I will read them because there's that few. So we have Prismatic Spray, which produces 8 rays. So I guess it's kind of a ray spell. We have the 3 genuine ray spells, which are Ray of Enfeeblement, Ray of Frost, and Ray of Sickness. And then sort of the unofficial, official ray spell, Scorching Ray, which is not... If it was Ray of Flame or Ray of Scorching, then it would be okay, but it's not. It's Scorching Ray, so it's not formatted correctly, and it makes me angry. Shifting on my chair, I'm not sure how audible that is. Sorry about that. So I am going to... we are going to make a ray spell, and we're going to make a ray spell higher than 2nd level, because I think that's probably a good idea. So let's do... My idea was... Ray of Force. Name pending. May change, because it's a bit of a shit name. Evocation. With a range of 60 feet. Actually, no, we'll go 30 again, because I think it could be a bit much, making it range 60, given the plan for what it's going to do. And what it's going to do is pretty self-explanatory. Does force damage and pushes people away. Because pushing people away is really good fun. I've heard, I've not done it and I've not seen it, but taking, I think it's Repelling Blast is the invocation for Warlocks that makes Eldritch Blast push people back 10 feet. That sounds really fun. Yes, Ray of Hit. Ray of Whack. Ray of Oof. It's a cantrip, it makes them just say oof. And it causes psychic damage to people around them because they think it's a little cringy. Which is disappointing because I find it quite funny. So, where is... So, Ray of Force. Let me just look at the other Ray spells and make sure they don't have any weird, like... No, they're all verbal somatic as well, so I think that's okay. It's going to be instantaneous. And we're going to say it's going to be for Sorcerer and Wizard. And Bard, maybe? They seem to be pretty... The Wizard gets all of them. And the Sorcerer gets all of them except Ray of Enfeeblement. So yeah, I think this is a pretty reasonable spread. I think it also is fair for Artificers to get this. Artificer is not in my home game. I'm not really a big fan of them. They overlap with something I already have pretty heavily. So I just ported them into a subclass, and they stay in their little subclass hole. And then there they will stay. But I see the appeal of Artificer. I definitely do. Okay. Drinking some water because hydration is important. Oh yeah, Owlet does. So, playing an Artificer. A strange penguin creature. Right, so you unleash 3 rays of energy hang on, let me look up the specifics of how Scorching Ray is worded. Okay, 3 rays of kinetic energy, because it makes it sound a bit more interesting. You unleash 3 rays of energy at targets within range. You may direct them all towards one target, or split them between several. A bit more of an elaboration on the way that Scorching Ray is worded, because it says you can hurl them at one target or several. This is a lot more specific. It says you can split them up. It's much more sort of like, this is what it does. Make a ranged spell attack roll for each ray. On a hit, the target takes... making 3 of these things, and it pushes them... I don't want to make this just Scorching Ray and just make it be 2d6 plus a push, because that's very boring. But that may end up being what I have to go with. Yes. Forcing Ray. This is more or less what it is, yeah. On a hit, the targets suffer... On a hit, would it be the targets or a target? The target. I will say a target, because a target suffers... No, the target, because a target implies that you can just choose which one of them takes the damage. The target suffers 3d4 force damage. That's, by the laws of dice math, that's, that is better than, that is substantially better than, train of thought, where the fuck has that gone? Good God, it's just gone. Oh, by law of dice math, 3d4 is slightly better than 2d6, because 2d6 averages at, damage. 2d6 averages at 7, whereas 3d4 averages at 7.5, which is enough of a difference to make any kind of difference, so, you know, it's not too bad. So I think... yeah, I think we will stick with... yeah, we'll go 3d4. We'll go 3d4. I think that's fair. It's 3d4 force damage and is pushed 15 feet away from you. And I think that's, like... yeah, that's more or less it. We just need an at higher levels, like... hang on. Let's... 1 second. Copy... paste straight from Scorching Ray, because it's the all the ray spells work in very similar ways. So the higher level you cast it, the more rays you make. Using a spell slot of 4th level or higher, you wait run additional weight for one spell slot above 3rd. So there we go. That was very quick, very painless. It's just sort of like filling a design space in a very, very simple way, which is always fun. Design space is cool. So yeah, basically, that is more or less that's 2 spells in the space of like 40 minutes, which is actually pretty slow. I think it's because of the commentary. More normally I would have burned through about 6 of these in this time. But again, I think it's mostly down to the fact that I'm actually providing commentary instead of just going, you know, just sitting in silence and, you know, slapping my hands against the keyboard like a madman. Oh, okay, I know what I'm doing next. This is going to be interesting. Another part of spells that I really, really like are modal spells. Modal spells are very, very, very fun. I think the one that springs to mind is Enlarge Reduce, which is a terrible spell. Enlarge sucks, and Reduce is not really worth it. But the idea of a spell being 2 things at once is really exciting to me. It's the same thing as like split cards in Magic, and everybody fucking likes split cards because they're kind of cool. So this spell is friction, non-friction. And we're going to say it's a 2nd level transmutation. It's going to be an action with a range of 90 feet. So, level somatic material, a handful of gravel, or an ice cube. So, you pick one, and obviously it's, you know, for friction, you get the gravel, and then for non-friction, you get the ice cube. And the duration is going to be concentration up to 10 minutes, let's say. We'll stick with that for now. I think Artificer can get this as well. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then from there, we're also going to say, I think Bard, it's a funny spell. Bards get all the funny spells. That's what we're going to do. Like, yeah, that seems very, like, that seems pretty reasonable, you know? I'm trying to think. I'm not sure whether druids should get this. It doesn't feel quite. It's sort of changing nature in a way that's sort of very sciencey. So I don't think. Yeah, I think we'll stick with this. Friction, non-friction. May give it to sorcerers. Yeah. Ray of Oof bot exclusive. I mean, we shouldn't deprive people of Ray of Oof. Like, let's be honest. I might make Ray of Oof right at the end just for a meme. Just a enchantment cantrip. It might actually be like, oh no, I know how to make Ray of Oof actually really good. Oh shit. God fucking damn it. Okay. Right. Okay, right. I know what I must do. I'm going to be doing God's work soon, but friction, non-friction first. Friction, non-friction first. Right, so let me look at the text for Enlarge Reduce. Sadly, I have this set up. I don't have like a screen record functionality set up without it just like picking up my entire fucking screen without my very snazzy overlay that I'm very happy with that I spent like 4 hours on yesterday. So I'm just going to go find Enlarge Reduce. Where is it? Here we go. Okay, right. I sort of understand, like, the syntax of the spell. So, you alter the ground. You alter the ground, changing its consistency to either form heavy drag or seemingly have no substance at all. Substance, I think, is the wrong word, but we can come back to that, that's fine. Heavy drag or seemingly have no substance at all. Yeah, I think that's fine. Choose a point that you can see within range. One of the following effects springs out from it in a 60-foot cube around that point. Hang on. Actually, no, I think what we'll do is one of the following effects you choose, effects that you choose springs out in a 60-foot cube centered on a point that you can see within range. Each solid surface within the area is affected as such for the duration. And then friction. Walking, moving across surfaces within the area costs 2 feet of movement for. Hang on, let me look at the specifics of plant growth, because we don't want it to be difficult terrain, because we don't want it to be able to be bypassed really, really easily. Because there's lots of things that let you just say no to difficult terrain. require the moving creature to spend 2 feet of movement for every 1 foot that it moves. Additionally, whenever a creature that has taken the dash action this turn, or a creature under the effects of a spell that increases their speed, has taken the dash action this turn, or as the haste or long strider spell. Long strider spell moves across an affected surface for the first. This again very wordy. You're gonna have to put some sentence breaks in this. That or fall prone. So there we go. So we punish speedy boys. So you know, they get trapped in this zone, and it punishes the speed. Oh, hang on, we'll get rid of this just for. There we go. Oh. So there we go. We'll get rid of that. Sort of punishing the speedy boys, and then non-friction. Have I spelled that correctly? Yes, I have. Whenever a creature enters the affected area for the first time on a turn, it must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or fall prone and slide across the ground in the to the nearest unoccupied space outside of an affected surface in the direction it was traveling. Right, again, this is very wordy. We're going to need to come back to this, but that's okay. An affected surface in the direction it was traveling. Outside of an affected surface. Outside. In the direction it was traveling. Yeah. So they walk on the non-friction area and they slip on their ass and they slide along the ground like a Zelda ice block puzzle. That's the plan. A creature... yes, indeed. Suffers disadvantage on its saving throw against this. I think that's okay. So again, it's a danger zone, and we punish lads for doing foolish things. So, yeah. So we're gonna, I think the spell as is, it's not gonna scale with level, like that's fine, but I think the area may be a little too large. We might go a 40 foot cube, especially with this difficult terrain, that could be like real nasty. Need to cool off. Oh, I hope the fan isn't being picked up. Someone do tell me if it is, and I will turn it off. Because it is 30 degrees outside, and probably 33 degrees in this room. Oh, right, sit up. Right. So, So whenever a creature that has, so we're gonna go back through and we're gonna fix the wording on this because it's pretty bad, to say the least. Yes. Katie suffers We're getting rain later on this week. Not before your next stream, but before mine. Speaking of which, I'm streaming Pokemon X on Sunday. Though you probably have already seen that, because you're here, but whatever. I'm gonna plug my shit anyway, you can't stop me. You're not my dad. I'm laughing at my own jokes, because of course I am. Whenever a creature that has taken the dash action this turn, or a creature under the effects of a spell that increases their speed, such as the haste, for the first time. It's such a long... That whole paragraph is a sentence to itself. Additionally, whenever... So let's do this, actually. A creature under the effects of... Right, okay, here we go. Let's try this. Whenever a creature that has taken the dash action this turn moves across an affected surface for the first time on a turn, on that turn, that creature must do a dexterity saving throw or fall prone. Okay, right. A creature under the effects of also makes this saving throw as if they were dashing. So there we go. That's sort of split it into two sections, and also that second section is mostly irrelevant. That's very rarely going to come up, so putting it at the end sort of neatens the whole package out, I think. Right. Well, what's the time? Okay, right. We will do this, and then we will do one more, and then we will do Ray of Oof, and then we will probably stop. I'm still getting the hang of this, but I will. And we may. Who am I following that's online? Why am I looking at this now? So another half an hour. Fuck it. Right. I may also take a break after this one as well, just so I can get another drink. And maybe sort some food if it is available, because it is 10 to 6. Oh, what's this one? I feel like I recognise this. No, I don't. Never mind. I do not recognise the song. I've had that problem with a lot of these. Right. So moving on to non-friction, because this section is also a mess. Whenever a creature enters the affected area for the first time on a turn, it must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or fall prone. There should not be a comma there. I always do this. And slide across the ground to the nearest unoccupied space. Outside to the nearest unoccupied. Outside of the area. Outside of the area. A creature slides in the direction it was moving in when it entered the area. So that should be okay. A creature also stops moving if it loses contact with the ground. So, because the way that it's worded without that sentence, they would slide across the air as well until they left the area, and we don't want that, because we want them sliding into pits too. That's the specific. My main point of example is from right at the start of Campaign 1 of Critical Role, which I feel is a very safe reference, because a lot of people have seen that. In the Underdark, there is the scene where Tiberius, or I think it's Tiberius, uses hallucinatory terrain to pull this ravine slightly further towards them, and they bring an army of Durgar, and they, the front line just fall into the ravine. If you had this spell, a lot more of them would, because they then slip and slide across the ground into the pit. That's sort of the idea here, is you can combo it with hallucinatory terrain, or just use it on its own for some hilarious sort of this is Sparta moments. Well, I suppose you're not really kicking them into the pit. You're more causing them to awkwardly slide along the ground like idiots and then into a vat of acid or something to that effect. Because that seems funny. And funny spells are good, especially when they're useful. A creature slides in the direction it was moving when it entered the area. A creature also stops moving if it loses contact with the ground. Or with a solid surface. So there we go. So yeah, I think with that spell done, I'm going to take a 5-minute break because I am dying a little. I'm going to go maybe get some more tea, maybe get a different ice pack because this one is not that cold anymore, and it's also just kind of, it's a little moist, and that's not really what I want, I want something cold, not something that's wet. So yeah, I'm gonna go sort that out. Do hydrate yourselves as well, because hydration is cool. Yeah, I will be back in 5-10 minutes. So, let me just... How the fuck do I do this? Oh, here we go. Right, I just literally click one button. Let's do that. we are back. Or I am back. Because there's just me. I got myself some food. I figured I'd sort it now. I will not be eating it on stream, though, because I have a feeling it will pick up. And that would be real gross. So, if anybody is new, welcome. We're making spells. We made some spells. Made bubble. Put someone in the bubble. Friction, non-friction. Which does exactly what it says. And ray of force. You blast some stuff. That's what it does. So I'm going to pick one more spell on my list, and we're going to do that. And then we're going to do the joke spell. Because, I mean, of course we are. That's just perfect. My hair is an absolute disaster. I'm going to try and sort that back out. So my hair is... my profile picture is quite old, and my hair is much longer than that. And thus it has to be tied up to not be on the back of my neck and cause me even more heat-based agony. And I tied it up very poorly before we started, so I had to redo it just now. Right, so what else is on my list? Let us find out. Right. I think we'll save exploding corpses for another time. Yeah, I don't think that's a... We are definitely going to save plane shape for another day, because that's going to be a whole ass stream all to itself, because that's going to be a fucking doozy, that is. Right. Does anybody have any recommendations, actually, outside of Ray of Oof? Because we are going to do that, because that sounds really fun, actually. I came up with a way to make that good, which is a thought that scares me. So if I will pick something off my list if nobody has any particular suggestions. Otherwise, do go ahead. I'll give it, 20 seconds or whatever. Ah, yes, Ray of Foo. I'll also put the music back on. That's probably a good idea. There we go. Okay, right. Yeah. Just trying to pick something from my list, I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. This could be an interesting spell. So we have Clairvoyance. How about Clairaudience? As a second level divination. So, range of self. Oh shit, where is it on my... Oh, here we go. Oh. We'll just go verbal and somatic because I can't think of a funny or amusing material component for now. Concentration for a minute, I think that's okay. Clairaudience, I think... Who gets Clairvoyance? That's probably a good shout, really. Bard, Cleric, Sorcerer, Wizard. I think that's a very reasonable list. Let's copy that straight across from Clairvoyance. Oh. Right, so you enhance your senses, becoming acute to the sounds around you. For the duration, you gain advantage on wisdom perception checks based on hearing, and rule. If you have advantage on wisdom perception, it increases your passive by 5. Little fact for you there. I didn't know that's how that worked until very, very recently. I've been playing this fucking game for 5 years. I like this ruling. So that is effectively on there anyway. Gain an advantage on wisdom perception checks based on hearing. And you gain blind sight out to a range of 30 feet. We'll also add, you gain immunity to the deafened condition, and you gain blind sight out to a range of 30 feet. I think, on its own, that's a really fucking strong spell. Like, it doesn't sound like it, but blind sight 30 feet? That's pretty good. Like, maybe we could boost it to 10 minutes. I think that's probably fair. But, like, just think about that, though. Like, blind sight 30 feet as a second level spell. That's way stronger than it sounds, trust me. Just cooling myself down. I had to go into my kitchen, and my kitchen is even worse than anywhere else. So, I'm not any cooler than I was when I left. I'm actually way worse. And I'm going to be, I'm just going to go outside after this, because fuck it. I am dying. Yeah, I think Clairvoyance just like that on its own, I think it's probably fine. I may, I may change that, but I think that's pretty good as is. And I think from there, because that took literally 5 seconds, it didn't take literally 5 seconds at all, but you know what I mean. It took a very short period of time. We're going to do another one. So, what we are going to do is create a paladin-only spell. And normally these are really fucking bad. But you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna perform a conversion. Misty Smite does exactly what it sounds like it does. It's Misty Step, but Misty Smite. It is a bonus action. It has a range of self. Its components verbal somatic, and its concentration up to a minute. No, you smite people with mist. Sadly, you do not stab some fog. I fear that such a spell is too strong for mortal hands. Even the gods fear such power to stab some gas. Some water vapor, if you will. It's a very powerful move. I should turn the frequency down on that bot. Sure is spammy, but well, it's fine. Ugh, right. Okay. So, concentration for a minute. It's only for paladins. Or paladin is how it would be listed. And now let's look at the Smite Spells for the specifics on how this works. The next time you take the attack action during the spell's duration, you may teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see before you make before or after you make your first attack as a part of that action. Additionally, so pull up to 30 feet to say. Turn into a cloud of mist and teleport. You may briefly turn into a cloud of mist. Oh shit. Briefly turn into a cloud of mist and teleport up to 30 feet to an occupied space that you can see before or after you make your first attack as a part of that action. Additionally, the next time you hit a creature with a weapon attack during the spell's duration, you cause the creature to disperse into into the same fog. Oh wait, hang on. Listen, you can force the target to make you force the target to make a Wisdom saving throw, or disperse it into the same fog, forcibly teleporting it to an unoccupied space that you can see. I'm just changing some stuff, some wording changes. The target disperses into the same fog, forcibly teleporting it to an unoccupied space that you can see within 30 feet of it. The target suffers 2d8 force damage. On a success, the target suffers half damage and is not teleported. So this, as a paladin spell, I would wager a bet, is really, really good. And paladin kinda needs it, because I have a lot of very strong opinions about paladin that I will not burden you with here, but it can be sort of simplified down to Divine Smite is way better than literally any other spell a paladin can cast in almost all situations. So we need to make spells that are good enough to be worth using over Divine Smite. And giving paladins access to this at 9th level, that's pretty big. This is like a really, really powerful spell. Teleportation on paladin, just movement on paladin is very hard to come by, because most of the paladin subclasses, or just most of paladin in general, is very, very slow. The only one that isn't is Oath of Vengeance, and even then, it's not that fast either. They get Misty Step, but that's it. So I think this is pretty neat. I'm gonna go out and say comfortably, I think this is neat. And it's probably very powerful, but I don't fucking care. And now, the last thing we're gonna do before we sort of wrap up is Ray of Oof. It's a first level enchantment, casting time 1 action, range 60 feet, verbal somatic, a yellow sphere of soft felt. It's like the little Roblox head. Its duration 1 round, and bard. Yeah, more or less. This be me when you cast Ray of Oof. Just unimaginable terror. Ooh, this is good. Hell yeah. You unleash a beam of yellowish energy that softens the mind of those it strikes. Make a ranged spell attack against a creature within range. On a hit, the target loses the ability to speak or communicate in any meaningful way until the end of its next turn. During this time, any attempts at communication cause the creature to simply emit, I can't spell emit apparently, to emit a strange grunt of vague pain. I think the word vague makes this additionally stupid. But Yeah, Ray of Oof. There we go. We've done God's work. Does anyone have any particular opinions? Oh, it looks like some people have just shown up to witness Ray of Oof, this horrid Frankenstein's monster of a spell that I have constructed. Best spell 2020? You know what? Sure. Yeah, Fire cast Ray of Oof. He uses his strength modifier. What an absolute god. Ray of Oof. This might be the best thing I've ever made. I've probably spent 2,000 hours designing Homebrew for this game, and this is the best thing I've ever made. Godspeed, Ray of Oof. Godspeed. So, yeah, it is 6:25. I think we will leave it there. I'll talk for another 5 minutes, no doubt. But yeah, we've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 serious spells, and 1 spell that's better than all the others. In the space of an hour and a half. I hope for people who have watched, this has been sort of an insight into Homebrew. I'm saying it's better than serious. It transcends all things. But yes, I hope this has been an interesting insight into Homebrew. I'm planning on doing this every week. I hope it's sort of you know, we can get a few more viewers. I think next week I might do something with Fighter. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm probably going to do some more next week. I have a feeling I might touch on Fighter, because I have some things I want to do with it. But I may also do some other things as well. I want to work on subclasses. At some point, I'm going to work on a class. I have plans. This first week is sort of a test, is a test run of what streaming is like, and I very much enjoyed this. This has been a good time. I am going to stream, I may decide to stream like Magic Arena or something in the week, because I love Magic, and I'm terrible at Magic, but I love Magic. If Segfault is still in here, he will agree that I love Magic, but I'm terrible at it. That's tea. But yeah, that's gonna be. I may decide to do that, but if I don't, I will be playing. I'll be playing Pokemon X on Sunday. I'm very excited for that, because I've only played that game once. It's in the crowd of, well, Pokemon games I've only played once, and it's surprisingly big considering how obsessed I am with Pokemon. It's good shit. But yeah, I think that. Let me just move us over to a blank screen. There we go. I think we may do a bit of a raid. There's only one person online, but he's an industry individual. Finn the Bin is currently playing Apex Legends, and we may go and raid them. They're pretty chill. They do. What is the word? Sensitivity reading for a lot of stuff, a lot of RPG stuff, and yeah, they make some cool stuff. So I think we will raid them if I can work out how to raid someone. I assume I just do /raid and then their username, but I don't actually know. I never tested this. Not that I had any means of being able to. Can somebody please inform me as to whether I'm correct and whether I'm just gonna... Okay, thank you. /raid. In the bin. Let me just make sure. Oh, I assume it is probably case sensitive. So yeah, I hope you all have enjoyed. We're going to do a bit of a raid. Woo. Thank you very much.